Hi, ladies. Hello, hello. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Veronica. Let me just get my tech in order.
Morning.
Morning. Hi, Nicola. Hi, Tamsin.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, Veronica. Hello, hello. Oh, lovely to see you all. Oh, it's so nice to have people here. I wasn't sure, when you organize a webinar, and I was like, ooh, 10 o'clock. Is that an awkward time? Are people walking their dogs? Normally, I would be at this time. Oh, so lovely to have you all here. You'll need pen and paper, ladies. If you don't have some, I would recommend grabbing some a pen and some paper. That would be great. I'm just letting some other people come in and then we'll get started. Okay, there's still people coming in. Okay, I think that's everybody out the waiting room. Let's go. Okay, 2 secs. Tech is not my forte, ladies, even though I've been in business for 5 years.
No worries.
Okay, can everyone see the screen, the presentation? This is a PowerPoint presentation. Everyone see that and hear me okay? Okay, cool. How do I make everybody smaller? Hmm. Ah. Right, sorry, ladies. I'm trying to share the PowerPoint and see you all. Okay, I think that's going to work. Let's go for it. Let's see what happens. Welcome, ladies, to the shift. I'm so happy you're here. It's great to see some faces. I've got so much to talk about in this class today, but please feel free to ask any questions. I'd love for this to be more of a discussion than a sort of lecture, because I will have you here all morning if you let me. I'm a total nerd when it comes to all things neuroscience, but I will try and stick to 60 minutes. So if I'm new to you, hello, I'm Gemma. It's lovely to meet you. I'm a transformation mentor and coach. And I'm going to share a little bit about my story, just a little quick blurb. I was a behavior analyst for 15 years and I had a business working with autistic children. I have been a human psychology nerd since I was a little girl. I've loved understanding why people behave the way they do. And so naturally, that took me into psychology and down the road of applied behaviour analysis. Didn't exist in Scotland. I didn't know that was a profession that didn't exist. And so had never planned to become a business owner. But here I was, self-employed and with a small clinic. Here's one of my little kiddos. For 15 years, I did this. Very much identified as a practitioner who could only charge £60 an hour. Don't know what that was about, but it had to be £60 an hour. Even going up to £65 an hour scared the hell out of me. And then these guys came along and it all got a bit hard. Running a business, I'd open my calendar and see like back-to-back clients, like Monday to Friday with three little kids. And it started to feel very hard very quickly. And so I thought, you know what, let's take this online, right? Like that's how people do it. They buy back their time by like doing online courses and coaching and things like that. Nobody tell you how hard it is to do that when you have a really successful in-person business. Moving online, I thought would be so much easier than it was. It was really, really hard. And the moment for me when everything changed was when COVID hit. The country went into lockdown. I had started running an online parent coaching course for parents of autistic children, and I was just completely defeated by it. And when the whole world stopped, that's only when I took the time to notice how burnt out and exhausted I was. Just so, so frustrated trying to scale this online coaching program whilst managing the split energy of an in-person business, whilst trying to raise three kids at the same time. I was very much the person who was constantly over analyzing and trying to figure out the how. How do I do it? How do I do it? Just give me the strategy. Can anyone resonate with this? Like, feel free to type in the chat box. Is anyone like me where you're like, just tell me what to do? Like, I'm a hard worker, I'll do it. And I felt like I was doing all of the things, and it just wasn't kind of just getting me to the next level where I really wanted to be. And I had the motivation. It wasn't a lack of motivation. Veronica, yes, so much. Jackie, yes. And that's without kids. Yeah, it wasn't a lack of discipline. It wasn't a lack of motivation. I was up for the work, but I was just on this hamster wheel of like complete hustle mode. And it was not making my life a party. In fact, it was quite miserable for a long, long time. But I did what most of us do, and I just busied myself to distract myself from feeling frustrated and a little bit miserable. I just went into hustle mode even more because nobody taught me how to even recognize thoughts and feelings. That just wasn't a thing for me, even though I was immersed in psychology. I hadn't really gone down that road. My work was very much in terms of analyzing behaviors you could see and therefore measure and change, nothing to do with the inner world. So for me, my in-person business on paper looked really successful. I had a team, I had a clinic, I had this online coaching program. So I ticked all the boxes. I had the family, I had the dog and everything. I just wasn't very happy. Does anybody ever feel like that when you're like, what's wrong with me? I've got all the things. I should be happier. And then you just shame yourself, right? Like you go down that shame spiral of like, I should be more grateful for what I have, but secretly I kind of want more. But why is it so hard at the same time? Does anybody else resonate with that, Veronica? Exactly. Yeah. And then it's just this perpetual cycle of like, must be missing something. That was me. I must be missing some magic bullet, some marketing or selling strategy that makes everybody, convert into millionaires by Friday with their yacht. It's like that marketing, isn't it? You see it everywhere online. So my online business, it was hard. And I totally took on the belief of like, well, obviously this is for other people. It mustn't be for me. I took on that belief very, very early on, and that I must be missing some magic business strategy. So my escape for that belief and that sort of vibe was like, I'll just throw all my money at business coaches and hopefully somebody will fix this. Does anybody else resonate with that? Just give me another business coach, another marketing strategy, another sort of business strategy, another shiny object, and hopefully that will relieve me from feeling this frustration. That was my go-to. It didn't work out very well. What did work out for me after going round in circles of like investing in business coaches was somebody eventually said to me, I think you would be better off seeing a mindset coach. And I was like, that's not for me. No, I just need a business coach that understands my business and, all this stuff. And I'd never invested 5K in anything before. Like that was an insane amount of money for me. But I took the plunge and I did it. And this was in COVID, so I had a bit of time. And this woman just changed my life. Like I was like, oh wow, I actually think I've fallen out of love with my business, which was huge, right? Like I didn't want to admit that at all. In fact, my reaction was of anger when she suggested that. And she taught me how to really sort of recognize the thoughts and feelings going on in my body, which I'd never even paid attention to before. And ultimately, that experience for me, I'd made a big decision to completely pivot. I handed over my autism business to one of my subcontractors. So thankfully, it's still going, which I'm very proud about. But I decided to become a transformational coach because I was like, this work that she was doing with me, I love this. I was like, this is my cup of tea. I love this. I was like hooked on the neuroscience. She had a little bit of like quantum physics. So I was like, ooh, that's interesting as well. So I did another certification and I became a quantum leap coach. And I started this business 5 years ago now. This is my fifth year of business. And I really wanted to like dedicate my sort of new mission to empowering women across the globe who are also here like me trying to change lives. Right? I don't really tend to work with women who are selling handbags. I tend to work with women who have this absolute inner passion and fire in their belly to make a difference in the world and to change lives. So for me, the transformation was very much one of being crippled with imposter syndrome because I'd kind of told myself so many stories that like, oh, if all of these business strategies and marketing things haven't worked, it must be me. I must be the one that's broken. There must be something kind of wrong with me. And so my self-worth, my self-trust, my self-confidence, everything was just wrecked. I was just on the floor. So this lady really helped me build that back up. And one of the biggest things that I realized was I absolutely made my sense of self-worth dependent on my successes or failures and other people's opinions of me. That was one of the hardest lessons to learn, was to not take things so personally and make them mean something about myself. So I built that back up. I also got very good at like failing because I didn't like to fail, right? Nobody does. We're conditioned by society to get 10 out of 10 and 100% and A-star pluses. And as entrepreneurs, we have to really get comfortable with failing fast and failing forward because it's all information, right? It's just information. But again, I would take that personally and make it mean something about me. If I failed, then it would mean that I'm a failure, and then it would mean that I'm not worthy, and what's the point? And da 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 da. Veronica, yes, exactly. It's so hard. Yeah, our brain just like sucks us into these stories. Other people's opinions of me. So this was the biggest one because in my autism business, there was a bit of a stigma attached to the sort of approach that we used with the children. And I had horrific trolling online, like horrific. And my hands would shake the moment I went to open my laptop because I'd be like, oh God, what is somebody going to have said on my posts today? And my heart would be like coming out of my mouth. It was awful. It was really awful. But instead of getting defensive or instead of just even like blocking and deleting these people, what did I do? I went into teaching mode. Let me just prove to you that I'm a nice person and that I'm doing a good job. And it was the biggest energy leak and so toxic for my, again, my self-worth. My trust and faith in money just didn't exist. I very much believed that, to earn money, I had to work hard. And I grew up with my dad worked offshore in the oil rigs in the northeast of Scotland. And so I had the upbringing of him literally sacrificing his time with his family and working in a really dangerous job to earn just enough money to get by. So that was a huge shift in me. My relationship with money, like money is now my best friend. I think I stuck my head in the sand. Does anybody else feel like this? Like you go through your life not really paying much attention to money, and then suddenly you're like, hang on a second, like how do I actually think and feel about money? I've been on a big journey with that. Setting and maintaining boundaries, that was another biggie for me. Jackie, I love hate money. Yeah, love hate, like love to have it, hate to look at it. That was me. I'll just stick my head in the sand because I don't want to see if I check it and it's not where I want it to be. Oh my God, that means it's true. I'll never get to have what I want. That was my core belief with money. So it was better just to ignore it completely. It's crazy, right? Setting and maintaining boundaries. I was the people pleaser. I wanted to be the good girl. I would go like I'd be the one messaging clients like well after dinner time into the evenings, checking to see if they're okay, and then wondering why I was burnt out and feeling a little bit resentful for getting paid £60 an hour. Um, the ripple effect of like the work I do now, I actually was speaking about it in my mastermind yesterday. I love the ripple effect. I work still with actually quite a few behavior analysts who are like changing the lives of autistic children, which makes my heart swell because it helps me still feel connected to that field. And it's all like when I think about helping my clients, it's more about like the love of how they can then help their clients because they're showing up in a different way. They're able to reach more people. They're able to get their people more results. And I love that. I love the ripple effect of that. And it's ongoing work, right? Like all of this stuff. If you're a lifelong learner, you're going to love personal development, right? And I honestly think that if you're an entrepreneur, especially in the online space, it can kind of coincide, right? They go hand in hand. You can't escape it. So yeah, after 15 years of all of this, I realized that it's like no matter how hard you work, how many business strategies you try, or how perfectly you execute them, right? Because perfect, I like to get things right. Um, Success will always feel unpredictable if your inner world, if your thoughts and feelings inner world is in chaos, if you feel at the mercy of your thoughts and feelings. And for me, my personal experience is the real needle moving work is managing these stories and emotions that are driving the actions and the decisions that you're taking and making in your business on a daily basis. And it's a shame because nobody teaches you this stuff, right? Like we go to primary school and we learn how to read and write, but nobody teaches you how to actually leverage the power of your brain. And it's the most valuable asset you ever have. So if you have been struggling with anything that came up in my story to make those kind of consistent big money months, I believe it's because you can't out strategize a dysregulated nervous system. Okay, that's just my personal experience and that's my belief. Obviously, strategy is important. You need a business model that works and you need different strategies to actually get your work out there. But I genuinely believe that the foundations of all of this, if you can imagine your business is like a house, the foundations is a regulated nervous system and understanding how to manage thoughts and feelings to then be able to build the walls, the business strategies, and the roof being the results. So I'm going to show you in this masterclass one of my favorite mindset shift tools that I learned way back when I first started this. It's super simple, but it's a great kind of five-step framework that you can use straight away. And it's really about managing thoughts and feelings in the moment where you feel triggered so that you can shift and change how you show up. Maybe take a different action, maybe not, but maybe you just change the energy behind the action you were going to take anyway and create the results that you really want in your business and in your life. You don't just have to use this for business, right? You could use this for anything. And it's a really good tool if you do have kids. I've taught my kids this tool as well. Okay, so let's have a little chat in the chat box. Let me know with a yes, if this resonates with you, that you feel that sort of wobble, like rise. It's like this rising wobble, like an elevator going up when you say your price out loud. You know your work delivers, right? Like you know you got your work's important and it's valuable, but part of you still wonders if they'll see the value the way that you do. Let me know if that lands with you. I had this with a in my mastermind yesterday. One of my clients is like, I'm getting asked to do trainings and to deliver these trainings in groups, and I want to set a price, but I'm just cringing. She's like, I just can't even look. Jackie, I shake. Veronica, I used to feel it super strong and it has softened since. Amazing. Veronica, good. Tamsin, I used to, but I felt the shift over the last couple of years. Amazing. So this came up for me, hang on, recently. I hit the VAT threshold just before Christmas. An amazing milestone, right? Everyone wants to hit those kind of like magic six figures. And instead of like being, yay, I've hit my six figures, I just went, oh shit, I've got to charge VAT. My prices have to go up by 20%, like instantly. Well, you've got 30 days. And I could feel that wobble. I was like, oh no, like I could feel the wobble rise. I was like, 20%. I don't even get it, right? It just goes straight to the tax man. So this is a big one for a lot of people. What about this one? You go to like write a post or record a reel, whatever you do in your business to be visible, and you know what you want to say, but right when you go to actually like post it or even record it, there's this like hesitation, and you might dilute what you say or you might soften it because what if this lands wrong? Or what if they judge me? Or what if I get tongue-tied and say something wrong? And so you tweak it and you delay it or you don't post it at all. Let me know if that one comes up for you. This is this is about visibility, obviously, and like really showcasing and speaking your truth. Okay, so we're not being vanilla, we're showcasing your authority as an expert and saying exactly what you want to say with conviction. Veronica, again, used to be my biggest fear. It started to improve, but I still have room to grow here. Same, Tamsin says same, move past that now. Amazing. Jackie, often don't post anything controversial. And yet, Jackie, that's what will get you the engagement, right? So this was me. I would share like like inspirational posts, like inspirational quotes and loads of value, loads of education. I was like, here's everything I know about everything in my life. And then I'd wondered why I didn't get any clients. I'm like, where's the clients? I'm sharing a ton of value and being consistent and showing up. But what I realized was I wasn't showcasing my authority as an expert. That wasn't coming across. And I was very vanilla. Like I could have been anyone, just another mindset identity expert. There was no geminess coming out in my posts. And it's still a work in progress for me as well. But it's that fear of being judged and saying something wrong. And it actually came up. I did a one-to-one call yesterday with like a seven-figure coach. This lady was very successful. And I was really interested to see what context she would bring to dive into. And it was visibility. And I was really surprised. I was like, what? But you're like really successful. She's like, yeah, but I was in a speaking event. She was invited to a business breakfast with eight-figure business owners. And she's like, I just put them on a pedestal immediately and thought I wasn't as good enough as them. And who would want to hear what I have to say? And she's like, I just went mute. I just didn't speak. I just busied myself with taking notes and eating the breakfast. And I was like, gosh, it's so interesting that this fear of being judged comes up at all levels. Tamsin, authenticity definitely gets squashed by fear of rejection. But yeah, absolutely, Tamsin, 100%. And yet that is what is gonna be that like I like to imagine myself as like a lighthouse. Like I want to be like, here's what I have to say and like draw my people in. And yet if we're all just saying the same things to avoid being rejected, then there's no lighthouses, right? And everybody just sounds like ChatGPT. Okay, what about this one? Like, you know what you need to do. Like, you're probably like me, you've invested in a ton of business strategy, marketing strategy, sales strategy. You need to raise your prices maybe, or be more visible, or maybe do more follow-ups. Like, maybe you just need to launch the offer. But right before you do any of these things that you know you need to do, there's this pullback and like pause. And so you just start tweaking. You just play about on Canva and you go and like edit all your copy on your website. Or you take the dog out and you distract yourself with other tasks because that gives you that sense of being so productive. You sort of tell yourself, I just need to feel kind of more clarity, or I just need to be more in alignment with what I'm doing. Does that one land with any of you guys? Veronica, for me, it was fear of conflicts. I used to be bullied online for my strong opinions 10 years ago. And when coming back to online spaces, I was terrified. Oh, Veronica, I'm so sorry to hear that. I mean, similar to me, right? With the trolling, it's horrendous. Like people just feel like they can say whatever they want online. Whereas I don't think they'd be saying that to your face, right? But it can really give you that shaky sense of self. So this is another one that I often see like with clients I work with. They're like, God, what is it? Like I know what I need to do. Why have I just got this like friction? It's like a friction of like I just can't seem to do it and it feels icky. So, like I've already said, I believe that the number one determinant for your success is your capacity to manage your mind because it doesn't matter how many like shiny business strategies you learn, it is your brain that will trip you up every time, every time. Who here knows lovely Denise Duffield Thomas? Any Denise fans in the room? I feel like I might be her biggest fan. This is me looking very hot and sweaty in London a couple of years ago, at Expert Empires, where she was keynote speaker. And the reason I'm looking so hot and sweaty in this photo is because it was really hot in the hotel room, and it was hundreds of people having this like breakfast, and it was, oh, get a selfie with Denise. And I was like so excited to actually meet her and speak to her and get a photo. And as I went to stand up to get the photo, I went and tripped over my chair and stood on her foot, literally stood on her foot. I was like, oh my God, I just stood on your foot, Denise. Oh, so sorry. And she was so kind. She was so sweet. Tamsin sounds like something I would do. Margaret, love her. Oh, hi, Margaret. Yeah, just love Denise. She's just the loveliest. But I love this quote. You have to decide now that you are enough. You are smart enough, pretty enough, clever enough, ready enough. You can be richer starting today if you're brave enough to define exactly what you want. I mean, mic drop moment there. I just love this because this is part of it. We are not always super clear about what it is we want because we don't give ourselves permission to dream big. That's the first thing. The second thing is we're not in a story of being good enough. Most of us are in a story of not being good enough. And so we become an energetic match for just not enough. And I love how she's mentioned you've got to be braver. Like loads of my ladies will come to me saying, I just want to feel more confident. And I'm like, park that for a second. I genuinely believe that it's courage. We need to feel brave. We need more courage. And with courage, you step outside your comfort zone, you try new things, and then you get good at those things the more that you do it and the more you practice failing and learning and failing and learning and failing, and then you become confident. So it's courage, competence, confidence. That's my belief. If we could all just be a bit braver, I think the world would be a different place, right? Okay, so instead of like this kind of fear and doubt, which we all seem to play around in way too much of the time, imagine just for a second being able to move out of your comfort zone, try new things from a place of playfulness and curiosity, openness and expansion, rather than the contraction of having to protect yourself. Because bless your little heart, that is all you're doing when you're in self-sabotage patterns. You're just trying to protect yourself. But when you can be in that courageous state and have that grounded sense of trust in yourself, in others, in your offers, your prices, in money, in the universe, God, source, whatever you want to call it, all the trusts, and you have that grounded sense of certainty and conviction, it's like then the doors are open to playfulness and carefreeness. And I always say to my clients, it's like if we could treat our businesses like a child's playground and run in and be like, what we're going to play with today? The slide, the swings, the roundabout, like, let's go. What would be fun? Because when you can elevate your state into playfulness, creativity, passion, love, gratitude, all those things, and you follow your joy compass, that is when your business strategies will really work because people vibe off your energy. So instead of like undercharging out of fear, you raise your rates and you trust the right clients will meet you there. And I've got a personal story about this. So the very first business coach I hired, it was a lot of money. It was like 900 euros a month. And I was like, oh God, I'm gonna have to like put my prices up to be able to pay her. And so, like I said, when I was a behavior analyst, I remember stressing around like charging an extra £5 an hour. So it was like going to go up to £65 an hour. I'm really sorry, everyone. Like, honestly, the stress that that caused. When I heard this business coach, I was like, I'm going to have to put my fee up by £1,000. Like, that just blew my mind. I was like, oh my goodness, okay. Well, it just has to happen. And the day I did that, I was like, right, it's 1st of September. It's just going to happen. Have to put it in the diary. It has to happen. So 1st of September it happened. Did I not have two inquiries that day? And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to actually say the price out loud. And I did. And they were like, yeah, send me the invoice. No problem. And I was like, okay, yeah, great. And no surprises that those two ladies got the best results compared to any of my other clients had. They were so invested in the work, right? What about this one? Instead of hiding or overthinking your content, you show up boldly and create space. You take up space for aligned clients to find you. Like instead of just kind of shrinking and playing it small and being vanilla and putting everything through ChatGPT a million times. Guilty of that one as well. You actually say what you mean and mean what you say, and you show up as yourself and you speak your truth. And I was saying to this client yesterday, the lady who was at the business breakfast, what is it that you feel when you want to, you feel that you've got an opinion or a viewpoint to share, but you just don't want to say? She's like, my throat just collapses. It just, ugh, it just shrinks. I just can't do it. It's like this lump comes up in my throat. And it's really interesting when you get into, I did a bit of research on like the witch wound with like clients from Scotland because they start rubbing their neck. Like it literally wasn't safe for women to share their opinions. Has anybody else done a bit of research on that? It's fascinating because it wasn't safe for women to speak up and say something different that went against what their husband said, for example, or a man said. That you would be called a witch. You'd be called out for that. So it was a dangerous game. And that's why we have this like generational trauma for actually speaking our truth and saying what we want to say. Instead of hiding or overthinking your content, you show up boldly, create space for allowing clients to find you. And instead of overworking from scarcity, that was very much me. I just need to work harder. You stay steady and build income from grounded action instead of urgency. So this was a big one for me. So this like it was like an addiction almost. I was like an urgency, like, oh, I just need to email more, post more, like I need to do more to feel like I'm in control of getting more clients and money. It's actually crazy when you think about it. Like if that were the case and money responded to our effort and all the hours that we worked, like teachers and nurses would be rich, right? Just isn't really happening. So it's about really regulating your nervous system with this trust and certainty. Everything's going to work out. And that takes a lot of trust and a lot of certainty when your external results aren't a match for that. And that is the work. Okay, a little bit of neuroscience because I like to geek out. Did you know that we have 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day, approximately? 95% of these thoughts are being recycled and automated in your subconscious mind. So only 5% of our thoughts we're actually aware of. 75% of those thoughts going on in our subconscious mind are negative. We have a brain with a negative bias. Really, really unhelpful. This is I need to find out the name of this guy to give him credit. It's a Norwegian photographer. He's amazing. And I love this photo because it's how I imagine the subconscious brain to be like this woodland, like full of lamps and lights. And all of these lamps and lights, imagine that they are like the memories and beliefs, the programs that are going on inside of your subconscious brain. And all the lights that are lit up are the ones that are running the show. The ones that are repeating and creating your life right now are all of those lights and lamps that are lit up. Now, we can't ever like just delete a belief, but what we can do is we can dim it down. We can dim that light down, dim it down, dim it down, and we can light up new lights. We can create new neural pathways and create new beliefs. Okay. So how do we do that? How do we change what is going on in your subconscious? If it's doing, and it is, all the heavy lifting, it's running the show. 95% of your thinking is coming from your subconscious mind. How do we like get rid of all the negative stuff and put the good stuff in? Well, we dim the unhelpful thoughts and we light up helpful thoughts. And that requires effort and energy. Just like going to the gym, if you want to be able to lift heavy weights, you can't just go to the gym one time and pick up a massive weight. You have to do it again and again and again. So this is the work when it comes to like personal development, mindset work. We want to be super aware of the unhelpful thoughts that we're going to dim over time. And we want to light up helpful thoughts, thoughts you want to think on purpose. Okay, so we're going to install new helpful thoughts into the subconscious because that is like that is what's driving the show, using the conscious part of your brain so that what's then being recycled and automated actually creates the results you want. Okay. And like I said, it is, you do have to be active and proactive about this and consciously think the way you want to think until your subconscious decides, you know what, she's placing a lot of energy and effort here. Let's lock it in as a belief. Okay. And this is the work. It does take energy though. And so there's going to be pullback because your subconscious mind, one of its primary jobs is to conserve energy. And so when it takes energy to create a new belief, it's going to have this pullback and like, you know what? It's too much effort. I want to conserve energy. Let's just lie on the sofa, binge on Netflix and eat Doritos and just go back into the familiar patterns of thinking because that requires a lot less energy. And that is when you have to really pull up your sleeves and be like, you know what, brain? No, that is not serving me anymore. I'm over here now. This is where I'm living. This is where I'm going to think. Yeah, so the subconscious brain, so good to know this, that it has these three main jobs. It's simply wired to protect you, to avoid pain and fear. So if you have a fear of putting your prices up, being visible, being judged, making mistakes, fear of not getting what you want, fear of any of the fears, your brain will like send a little alarm bell. Okay. It doesn't want you to even go near anything that feels fearful for you. It definitely wants to seek pleasure. So it wants a quick fix. It wants to be able to like tick off your list of things to do, which is why we always like to do the easy jobs at the top of the list of things to do and the harder jobs are at the bottom of the list to do. You get a little dopamine hit. And it wants to conserve energy, just like I explained. So it reads anything new as dangerous. So if you're trying to do say it's like a new business strategy or even a new price or new fee, or maybe you want to try a new offer, with anything new, your brain will be like, hang on a second, like this could be dangerous. We might die. Okay, we have a very old brain in a modern world. Fear in the modern world is basically anything new, anything stepping that requires stepping out of your comfort zone, which, as we know, as entrepreneurs, is essential for success, right? We can't stay in our comfort zone. We have to be constantly just stretching it, just expanding it, if you want to scale your business. Okay, so how do we do this in practice? You need to pay attention. You need to get really curious and practice kind of like a little outer body experience, like step back and out into that observer mode and start watching your thoughts. And I love the sentence stem. I'm noticing my brain is offering me the thought of, who do you think you are? No one's going to be interested in what you have to say. It just helps separate that thought from the real me. Okay. Yes, they're my thoughts. I'm going to take 100% responsibility and ownership over that. But I am not my thoughts. They can change at any moment, right? So I am not my thoughts. Thoughts are just sentences in your head your brain is offering. And this is the thing that I always want to like tattoo onto my clients' like foreheads. Like you have a choice. You have a choice whether to accept that thought and really kind of focus on it and perseverate on it, or shift your attention to a different thought. You always have a choice. And when we feel like we don't have a choice is when we feel powerless and stuck and trapped and doomed. And that's not a fun place to be in. So it's like, oh, yeah, I could choose to think this, or I could choose to think that. And you get to make this up. There's no right or wrong. You get to literally make this up. Okay, I've been doing a lot of talking. Give me a little yes in the chat box. Is all this making sense? Any questions so far? How good is this visual, by the way? So good. Oh, Veronica, the more fun I have, the more money I make. Yes, I love that. Yes, let's have fun with money. Veronica says yes. Jackie says absolutely. Tamsin. We just landed a whale client for the first time by being ourselves, not worrying about the other company's proposals, pitches for the work. We stopped worrying about our presentation being polished or slick. We just put forward our approach and our real costs. We did not reduce our rates, even though it was high volume. We discussed reducing the time or effort, but we didn't. And in the end, they have not questioned the cost at all. Yes, they signed it off. We were fully confident in the value we would bring to them for the first time and it worked. Yay! That's amazing. Celebrating you, Tamsin. That is so cool. I love it.
It was a
Awesome.
huge step, huge step.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Oh, congratulations. That's awesome. Okay, so back to business. Do a brain dump, just do a thought download, like just grab a journal and just scribble it all out. No judgment here, right? Like just bleh, like let it all come out, write them all down. Because again, when you put it into black and white and you get them out from like swirling and whirling in your head and you put it on paper, it helps make it more tangible. Like you see it and you have that sense of separation and it helps you quality control better. It helps you look at it and go, well, no, that's ridiculous. Like, no, I'm not buying into that. Or maybe it is true, right? But you get to decide. We're never here, like I always say to my clients, like never use self-judgment. It's like super glue. We're not here to use this work against ourselves. We want to stay in curiosity. I'm noticing I'm having this feeling of, I'm noticing I'm having this thought of, always in curiosity. Allow any feelings that might come up without resistance and notice the physical sensations that you feel in your body. So I'm working with two ladies at the minute who are both somatic coaches. It's so interesting. Their work is amazing. And it's like we share this kind of similar truth in that we want to really to get out of our mind because we're all living in our heads most of the time and in our body is really getting to know the physical sensations of that emotion, which again, we're not taught at school, right? We're taught like to recognize the emotions of happy, sad and angry or whatever. But like, okay, so how do you experience shame? What does shame feel like to you in your body? How do you know it is shame? How do you experience fear in the body? Panic, out of control? How does it feel? Where is it? Where's the location? What's the texture? What's the temperature? What's the pace, the cadence? And the reason this is so important is when you focus on the physical sensations, it's like an emotion, it's just energy emotion, right? It wants to move through you. But if we focus on the stories that your brain will naturally want to bombard you with at the same time, then it escalates all. So if we can just mute the stories for a second and fully focus on the physical sensations, it helps that emotion actually move through you. Really powerful stuff. But again, a skill. You've got to learn how to do that. It took me a long time to really get good at that because I was so like literally was a behavior analyst for 15 years, being paid to be in my head and problem solve. And I found this really hard to like connect with my body. My mentor would always be like, you've got to drop into your body. And I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Drop into your body. Okay, so when we clean up what we're thinking, we automatically change how we feel. That's the sort of behavioral psychology basics. Okay, when we clean up what we're thinking, we'll automatically change how we feel. The work is thinking greater than how we feel because our brain is going to want you to like suck you into the story of suffering. And it takes quite a lot of kind of courage to be like, you know what? This is not for me. I'm not wanting to, and we're not here to bypass anything. I'm not saying that. We want to feel it and then we want to shift out of it. Okay, so here's my nifty little tool. I want to teach you all. It's so good. So the thought model, by the way, if you want to really nerd out on this and learn about it more, definitely listen to the Life Coach School podcast by Brooke Castillo. It is amazing and it's super bingeable, really short, snappy episodes. And she teaches this in such an easy way to understand. Okay, so here's the thought model. It's not new, it's nothing new. It's just like, again, old psychology, but I like the way it's laid out. Okay, so we create what we think. Okay, your thoughts shape your feelings. You have a thought and then you have a feeling. Your feelings drive your actions, the behaviors you take, the responses that you make, and your actions create your results. So it makes sense then, change your thoughts to change your results. Okay. So we have a circumstance in the world, right? The circumstance is the fact. It's the thing that's happening. It's the thing that's outside of you, something or someone you can't control, like the weather or somebody saying something to you. Okay. Then what happens is we have a thought about that thing. We have a thought, a sentence in your brain about that circumstance. Now, your thought, this is really important, is not the fact. It's just a filter, a perception, or a lens that you use. And that's one of the misconceptions that we believe our thoughts to be facts. They're not. Okay. Where it's just a thought about a circumstance. Then from that thought about that circumstance, it kind of invokes this feeling in the body, which is a vibration we experience, right? It's like I said, it's energy and motion that actually wants to move through you. Energy, like emotions don't want to hang around. And there's really interesting research by Jill Bolt. I think her name's Jill Bolt at Harvard University. She's done a lot of work on emotional regulation. And she's got this great research to show that it actually only takes 90 seconds for an emotion to pass through the body. None of us really experience that because, like I said earlier, we're too busy listening to the stories, which keeps us in it for longer. So then from the feeling, excuse me, we take an action or inaction, right? But it's the behavior or responses that we do based on what we feel. Okay, so it can be inactions, it could be a reaction, if you blow up at somebody. It can also be decisions that you make or don't make and rapid fire thoughts. There's a lot going on in the action line. And then from the action comes the result, the personal result that you create for yourself in your life. Okay, so we've got circumstances, thoughts, feelings, actions, results. Okay, so here's how you use it. You want to choose a circumstance. Okay, it could be about your business, could be about your partner, it doesn't matter. Choose a circumstance, a problem in your life, right? Something that's just irking you a little bit. And then you want to ask, okay, what is my thought? You're going to have a ton of thoughts. Do the brain dump, write down all the thoughts that come up when you think about this specific situation or context. And then you'll notice yourself gravitating towards one main thought. Okay. And then you can ask yourself, what do I feel when I really lean into that thought? When I'm thinking this, what do I feel? What emotion comes up for me? Then write that down. And then what you want to do is say, when I feel like this, what do I tend to do? What are my actions? Do I distract myself? Do I busy myself? Do I overanalyze, overthink? Do I blame other people? What is my response? What actions do I take or not take? And then the result is simply, and what is that creating for me? Okay. So this is a real example from a client. This is quite a long time ago now, but she had a business coach who had done a landing page for her, like a sign up page for her course, and she was asked to review it. That was the circumstance. And she'd been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And I was like, let's just tackle this. Come on, let's just tackle this. What is the thought that comes up when you think about this landing page? And she was like, I just can't do it. And she's total technophobe. She's like, I just can't do it. And I was like, well, what's the emotion that comes up? She's like, it's just fear. It's just this fear. And so her inaction was she didn't review it and she would flick through TV channels and eat chocolate cake. Obviously, the result was the landing page wasn't published. Nobody knew she had an offer that was amazing, but the offer wasn't out there because the landing page wasn't published. Fairly straightforward. So this is called the unintentional model. This is just the snapshot of like what is happening right now. Let's just be brutally honest. What is happening right now? So that's the unintentional model. That's where you start. And then you want to do the same thing again, but this time is the intentional model. Circumstance is the same, right? She still needs to review the landing page. Everything else you can change though. Your thoughts, feelings, actions, words are your greatest superpowers. That's the only thing you have full control over. Okay. And you don't need to do this in linear sort of order. You could start at the results and work your way up. You could start at the feelings line. You could start at any line you want. So for her, she wanted to start with a feeling line. I said, when you think of this landing page, how do you want to feel about it so you can review it? She was like, I would just love to feel focused and in flow. Perfect. What do you need to believe to feel focused and in flow? And she didn't really know what to say. So we had to do a bit of brainstorming here. And I always like to say to people, you just want to go shopping, go thought shopping, just see what you want to try on. And when you try on something you love, you're like, yes, this feels really nice. I'm totally going to buy this. It's the same with thoughts. You want to say them out loud a few times, really let them land and be like, do I notice any sort of energetic shift? That's what you're looking for. Even if it's just 1%, a little energetic shift in your body when you say that thought out loud. And so we did this a few times and she was like, I know this and I can do this. And she said it a few times and she was like, yeah, actually, I do know this and I can do this. And so the action she went to take, I made her do it on the call there and then, review the landing page. We did it together and she gave the feedback back to the business coach. The landing page was published. Super simple, right? Super simple. There are a few rules for the thought model. I can actually send you all a little workbook. I'll send you a workbook I've got for this. There are a few rules you want to bear in mind. You only want to use one circumstance at a time. Otherwise, it can get really messy. you only use one thought per model. So you could have multiple models, but one thought per model, one word for the feeling line. Otherwise, it's like, I feel this and this and this. Keep it really clean, but you can put multiple actions in actions or reactions in the action line and then one result. Like I said, you can start any line when doing the intentional model. Okay. So, and that's it. It's like, okay, keep it simple. What are my thoughts? What are my feelings? What are my actions? What are the results I'm creating for myself? Okay, that's not working out very well. Let's go over here. I want to sign a new client. Okay, great. What actions do I need to take? This, and this. Okay, great. How do I need to feel to be able to take all those actions? Excited, motivated, brave, whatever it is. Okay, great. What do you need to believe to feel that emotion? Try on the thought, try on the thought. This is just one tool, but it's a really effective tool. If you catch yourself in the moment, even in hindsight, it's really useful. You can practice with it as well. Yeah, you own your thoughts and your feelings and your actions and your words. They are all yours. Nobody can take them away from you. They are all yours. Like I said, they are your superpowers. You are a conscious creator. You get to decide what you think, what you feel, what you say, and what you do. Nobody can take that away from you. Anything between, I say to my clients, anything between your nose and toes, all yours. You get to decide. Nobody's climbing in your body, making you feel a certain way. You are accidentally choosing to think and feel a certain way based on what they've said. But you can change them at any time. And it is a practice, it is a skill. Okay, so you've got your new thought from your thought model. How do you signal to your brain, this new thought is what I want to lock into my subconscious? This is important. I've just spent time doing this, okay? There's no avoiding the fact that repetition equals mastery, okay? But it's not just repeating it like a parrot. The magic is in the feeling and the emotion that it conjures, which is why, as I said, you need a little bit, you need to feel an energetic shift. When you're really locked into something, you're like, yeah, that actually makes me feel really good. You want to repeat your new thought as much as possible, feel into it. Put it on a post-it note, put it on your bedside cabinet, make it the first thing you read when you wake up. Everything is always working out for me. That's a great one, isn't it? I'm doing enough, I'm doing it right, and it's working. I used that for a long time. My people love to pay me. I used that for a long time. And you want to think it and feel it and then act. Think it and feel it and then act. It's like your thoughts and feelings are like the energy you're putting into, or the fuel you're putting into your car. Okay. You won't get very far putting diesel in a petrol car. Okay. We really want to like invest the time in like getting the energy there first and then act. And research shows that it takes about 21 to 66 days for a new thought pattern to start becoming automatic, but only if you're doing it every single day, mentally and emotionally. If you're kind of dipping in and out, it's like hitting the reset button. So it is a practice, and you can set a timer on your phone. You can put little visual prompts in places, anything that works for you. You could even record your voice on your phone. So self-regulation, the key to creating a happy and successful life is self-regulation. And that is the ability to create your own emotional state based on you deciding what it will be, rather than the vast majority of us are doing, rather than relying on your external circumstances. So a lot of my ladies will be like, I really want to feel a sense of like freedom. And I'm like, okay, what do you think you need to feel like that? Well, I need to make like consistent 10K months, 20K months, I need a bigger house, need this and that. I'm like, how about we actually get that right now? You get that sense of feeling and comfort and support. One of the most common core beliefs I find with the women I work with is I'm always going to be alone. That comes up all the time. It did with the lady yesterday. And I'm like, how about we connect you with something bigger than yourself so that you don't need to rely on thinking you need other people to feel that sense of connection and belonging. She was like, that'd be amazing. Money wasn't a thing for her, but she felt this sense of like disconnect and aloneness. It's like you can decide, you can do that. You have everything you need within yourself. You just need to learn how to tap into it. So the take home point, don't wait for things to happen in the world. Decide ahead of time how you want to feel and be intentional about it. I think most people, myself, I was like this as well. I was like, I just want to make more money. It's a bit vague, right? Like, let's get really clear. Let's get really intentional. What is it that you want? And do you give yourself permission to have a desire? Or do you feel a little bit of a block, a bit of like resistance or tension when you say what you want? Because we never want to ignore objections. They're always there to tell us something. So what is that block, that resistance when you say, I really want this thing, what, and you feel an objection? What is that telling you? It's not okay to want this because I don't deserve it unless I've worked hard for it. I work with a behavior analyst in America right now, and she used to just have so much shame when she woke up in the morning and noticed there was like emails from Stripe saying that people had bought her online courses when she was sleeping. She couldn't handle it. She hated it. Everyone else would be like, oh, that's amazing. She just had the guilt that she wasn't working for it. Even though she created the courses, she had that guilt of like, yeah, but I have to be like working for it. I can't just be sleeping and getting paid. It's like fear of success. That's another common one. Any questions so far? I kind of feel like I might have rushed through the thought model a little bit. Is there any questions on the thought model? I can definitely send you my little resource, my little worksheet that I've got to help you have a play with it. Are we all good? All making sense? Give me a little yes if it's all making sense. Jackie, thank you. It's really clear. Amazing. Tamsin, yes. Great. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I can offer you. The obvious question, stay where you are or come and work with me and raise your game. I've got this little program which I run a couple of times a year, and it's just like a little 4 week accelerator. It's called Rewired to Thrive, and it's everything we've covered today is basic brain training. Okay, and we master the thought model and we actually use it in real time. Okay, so anything that you notice triggers you, like we talked about earlier, the visibility, the pricing, whatever it is in your business, we run through thought models and then we take the action in real time. Okay, so it's like a little kind of immersive, little 4 weeker. So yeah, you have that thought model absolutely learned and mastered and integrated, so you know exactly how to interrupt. You know your kind of self-sabotage when you can notice yourself in it, that procrastination, perfectionism, hustle. And you are able to regulate those emotions, like I said, really staying in the body before you escape it by taking action. Okay. And I'm really passionate about helping women basically step into their CEO shoes and become leaders. Okay. And you genuinely need to have these skills of managing your thoughts and feelings to be able to do that, to create a successful business. So that's what we do inside Rebar to Thrive. We master the thought model so you can interrupt spirals in real time. And I want you to think of me as like a coach in your pocket. Some like we have close contact inside Telegram as well as weekly calls. Train your brain to stay steady when visibility, pricing, whatever it is for you, the triggers, selling stretches you. You're going to bring these specific triggers to the calls and be like, right, this is what I want to work on this week. And we work through it in real time. And I want you to actually be then taking the needle moving actions that then grow your business from this place of confidence, right? Like I was saying, this conviction, this courage, rather than the fear, the wobbles, and the doubt. So yeah, by the end of the 5 weeks, you're able to shift how you think, feel, respond, navigate challenges, because challenges are going to come up, right? With the obstacles we're going to face as entrepreneurs. But you're going to be able to handle them with clarity and confidence, no matter if somebody asks for a refund, if somebody says no in a sales call, whatever it is for you. There are 4 weekly group coaching calls. That previous slide said 5. It's 4 weekly group coaching calls across March, literally starting next week. You get lifetime access to the actual course. It's not a big course. I'm not a fan of like huge courses of self-study stuff. I think it's like 3 or 4 modules max. You get tasks, resources, workbooks. Like I said, it's very kind of active, very interactive, this little course. I love Telegram for keeping in touch with you all. You send voice notes. I want screenshots of the thought models. You get a bonus one-to-one call with me for the first 5 people who sign up. There's payment plans, as always, available as well. We're literally kicking this off next week. When you sign up, you get instant access to the course. So you can do the pre-work ahead of time. And I've got this really neat little audio series, which you can also get access to. It's just like a 10-day bingeable audio series, which is kind of, yeah, the content fits in really nicely with all the work we're doing inside of Rewired to Thrive. Yeah, the one-to-one coaching call. Normally they're like £350. So you can grab one of those if you're quick. I'm gonna pop the link in. I wonder if it'll let me copy and paste. No. Let me see if I can just grab the link. Has anyone got any questions? And I can grab the link. We can have a little chat if you want. How am I doing for time? Oh, look at that. I've actually kept on time, ladies. What is the book you mentioned? What is the book? No problem, Nicola. What is the book I mentioned? Veronica, was it the podcast? Podcast. Let me type it in. Thanks, Tamsin. I'm glad you liked it. You can feel free to unmute. We can have a chat if you've got any questions about it, the content from here or the course. The Life Coach School podcast. There you go. The Life Coach by Brooke Castile, Veronica. Oh, she's fabulous. She's so good. Yeah, you'll enjoy that. What was I gonna try and do there? We just got two of you left. Everyone's disappeared. I was going to try and pick up the link. Here we go. There we go. Everybody's left, but I'll have to send out the email. And I'm going to send the little workbook as well to go with this so you can have a little play around. But yeah, thank you for staying to the end.
Oh, thank you, Gemma.
Did you like it? Did you
It's
enjoy that?
really good. It's really good.
Oh, good. I'm
I
glad.
need to get a lot better with timing. You've been great getting it in there. Normally, I just waffle on.
Well, normally I waffle on. I'm actually quite proud of myself. Veronica, thank you so much for staying to the end. It's so lovely to have you here. Have you got any questions or
Um,
comments, either or?
well, first of all, thank you so much for this amazing presentation and giving a slice of your beautiful piece of cake. Yeah, I do have a question in terms of your prices, and what you recommend. Do you put them in public, or is it only once you have people in a sales call? Because I have heard different, like even my coaches, I had different coaches throughout my journey, and they have different opinions. And I just wonder how you deal with this. How do you go with this? Do you put them on your page, or is it only in these kind of containers when you have people live, either one-on-one call or group call where you present your prices?
Yeah, I actually don't tend to do sales calls. I prefer just to have these. I prefer to just be upfront about my prices. So I probably mix it up. Like I've definitely written sales posts that don't have the price, and then I've written other sales posts that explicitly say the price. So I think I tend to do a mixture. But I prefer to sell in the DMs rather than sort of I mean, if someone's like, you know what, I'd really like to get to know you a little bit, and like maybe they're new to my world, then I'll definitely be happy to jump on a sales call. But I think most people just want to know, like, how much is it? Like, why wouldn't you share that information?
Yeah. Thank you.
No worries. Okay, ladies, I'll let you go and get a cup of coffee, but thank you so much again for taking the time to be here. I appreciate it. And I'll send the replay. You can have another watch if you want.
Oh,
Thank you so
lovely. No,
much.
it's really useful. Thank you, Gemma.
No
Have a good day,
worries.
everybody.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.